Everybody, thank you again for joining us for 1 Million Cups. My name is Trezzy. I'm the MC and one of the co-organizers here at 1 Million Cups. We want to go ahead and apologize real quick for last week. We had some stuff come up, cancellations happened, and we did not, unfortunately, have our event. It's very last minute. We're going to try and do a slightly better job of getting the emails out sooner and making sure that everybody knows.
But it's a good reminder if you're not on our mailing list to get on it. So if you were surprised by last week's cancellation, we're sorry, but you can help by making sure you're in the list.
Also, quick notes, we will not have 1 Million Cups next week or the week after. So we'll be off for 2 weeks for the holidays. We will be back after that. Make sure to go ahead and check in. If you haven't already, go grab the 1 Million Cups app and check in. We're going to run around and do some introductions real quick, and then we'll kick it off with our presenter. One more time, my name is Trezzy. I'm the MC and one of the co-organizers here at 1 Million Cups. I'm also a software engineering consultant.
My name is Josh Helling. I'm also one of the co-organizers here. My firm, Rootstock Partners, builds software products and works with entrepreneurs to help them get their software product strategy right.
I'm Kurt Peterson, co-founder of 32 Auctions, platform for hosting and managing settlement auction fundraisers.
Steve Clodd, co-founder of 32 Auctions.
John Helt, Mascase Fire Products and Springfield Welding Manufacturing.
Rachel DuPont, sales with Regis and Spaces.
Hi, I'm Mark Yarmoff. I am the community manager for Starting Block Madison right upstairs.
You'll hear enough from me in a second.
Kaylee, I teach at Madison College and
I'm Keith Fuller, and I'm the founder of All About EX, which is a service that helps startups handle all things people.
I'm Nick Hirth, and I'm a staff accountant at Riley Company.
I'm Angie Allen, and I'm entrepreneur at Milton.
Hey guys, I'm Josh. I run Little Wolf Digital Marketing. We help companies get found and sold online.
I'm Pete Cabby. Normally I tell you I'm a wealth manager, but this week I decided to tell you I'm a maintenance guy at a local building, just to switch things up a little bit.
True. Renaissance man.
Yeah, I'm Chuck Saron, I'm a blimp pilot.
Nice.
Intellectual property. You were.
I'm Derek Kibler, I'm a digital media technologist.
I'm DP Knudden. I help people discover, craft, and communicate their completely true, completely you brand stories via the most efficient channels possible.
I follow that. Chad Ferguson with Triumph Builders.
I'm Katrina Meta with Destination Madison, so we're the sales and marketing arm, basically, of the destination. We attract business and leisure visitors to the destination, as well as events and conferences and meetings. All right, so since Mark reminded me just by being here, I forgot to say thanks to our sponsors, Dream Big for the space. It's just to keep an eye on it, got it. And Starting Block for their continued support. And with that, I will kick it over to our presenter. Let's hear it for Jared from Spaces.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Thanks for setting this up. I'm Jared Mikulecki. I'm area sales manager, team leader. It's a very long title. I was joking when I got it. I said it sounds like I'm really good at making end caps at Target. But just responsible for helping out the sales team throughout Wisconsin with International Workplace Group, which we go over kind of some of the different changes that have happened in our industry in the co-working space kind of over the last a couple months. Have been very interesting. I'm sure some of you guys have seen the news. The neat thing is, we rebranded as a company about 2 years ago when we were Regis to International Workplace Group, so that we can actually offer more of a diverse offering for small businesses and our corporate clients. Because about a third of our companies that are with us as office clients or virtual office clients are small business for startups. Another third is mid-sized businesses, probably signed in like your second or third lease and ended up don't want to take too much space or took too little on their most current lease. And with us, you have the flexibility of upgrading, downgrading, moving as you need. And then the other third is corporate clients like family, who's with us in Milwaukee temporarily. And the neat thing is, all three of those guys kind of working together in one co-working environment also helps some of those small businesses sometimes break through as well, because you never know who you're going to meet at the coffee machine, or when we do, you guys have Friday yoga as well. So I think our barista's doing like Star Wars trivia or something. So what we were able to do then is, when we rebranded as IWG, is we had like the Regis, where it was like the total professional suit like I'm wearing today. Business space where it's very, very professional, and we had about $2.5 billion in income from that space. But there was this other, company that was kicking our butt that you may know, because they were offering cooler, newer facilities that had kind of more open space concepts, to them. And it actually kind of cool, because when you see, a company that's actually willing to make changes and be, versatile, we were able to come up with this Spaces brand. Actually purchased it from a company in Amsterdam, and it really has really nice, like if you guys haven't been up there, we'll take a tour afterwards if you guys wanted to. It really kind of open areas, and we've opened, there's the 300th one just opened. We did 120 of them last year within this last calendar year, so one every 3 days globally. They were opening, and this one's 3 floors, and I was talking to some of you guys, it's about 35,000 square feet. That one is like a medium-sized one. So typically they're about 100,000 square feet for it. But wanted to probably let me grab my charge cord. What we're able to offer is, I'll kind of go over with you, really great for the small business and startup communities, because we can do everything from like a mailbox that's under $100 for the startup person that's working from their home and doesn't want someone looking for a refund knocking on their door while they're having dinner on a Friday night. We actually are able to sign for packages. And then also a nice thing too is we also are very friendly with like the Google searches as well. So when they search your address and your company, it'll actually come up like the Gebhardt building as well. So it gives you guys kind of a nice presence. Didn't really have anything specifically prepared. Wanted to go through kind of like our welcome book to kind of show the diversity of what we can do for the small businesses. So even if you're just looking for like a place to work, all right, we have even just like our memberships where you can get access to our business clubs, and you can just drop in and work from any one of those globally, which is one of our key differentiators, having 3,000 Regis locations globally and these extra 300 Spaces locations in a lot of the major cities. You can just access it Monday through Friday, stop in between 8:30 and 5 and check in. You'll have an inspirational workplace to work from. Wi-Fi is already there. We also have like a barista in-house as well, so when it's like 4 degrees outside, you don't have to go outside. The other nice thing too, we have dedicated desks, again, where you can get just the 24-hour access. You'll have a desk space to work in. If you needed to meet with clients, there's usually like semi-private areas in the spaces that you can get, or you can get an office space by the hour, which is usually $20 an hour, and for all that person knows, that's your office. Favorite story, we had a therapist that was doing like the day offices with us in Pewaukee, and he would come in, he would take down the picture, hand it to the front desk, put up his degree, picture of his kids. He requested the same office every time. Unfortunately, that office sold, so he had to move, and then he had to explain that to his clients. But the neat thing is, we definitely are able to present, and represent your company well because you already have like the front desk and receptionist already there. We have the dedicated office space as well. Everything from space for like one person up to, I got a team of 100 people in Milwaukee that we moved in. And the beauty too is the flexibility. You can even do month-to-month leases where, if you decided to outgrow us and you were looking to go somewhere else, or looking to go into conventional space, or even they call it like swing space, which is where, think of like when you move from one house to another, like how difficult it was to sync up those dates. Imagine doing that for like a company of like 50 people. So what we're able to do is provide a space for them to work for a couple months in the interim as well. Also have fully equipped meeting rooms, so they already have all nice technology like this stuff here to be able to link into if you need to do a presentation. You can always be able to have a space like that. And even when a lot of companies are considering us, when you think of like a meeting space, how often are they actually using it? Once a week. And they're paying for that square footage all the time. So with us, you can just pay the hourly rate, do your sales team check-in twice a month, and do your presentation, and not have to end up paying for that type of square footage the whole time. Again, here in Wisconsin, we have 11 locations, so we have 7 down in Milwaukee, 3 up here in Madison, and then we have our one in Appleton. The 2 Spaces locations are again here, and then the other one on North Water Street. Each Spaces has kind of like a cool thing. I was telling you guys, the one in Nashville has like a music room next to where it's like soundproof, and it's got like guitars and drums and everything in there. So if you're having a stressed out day, you can go in there and jam out. We got a game room in Milwaukee with like a Scrabble board that it's like about almost the size of this screen, and then it has magnetic tiles on it. We have a rooftop deck. Ours, you see this brown building that's like that nice fun Cream City brick. I was joking, our deck is about 20% of the size of the one here, because when we went to the structural engineer, they pointed out that we're on 1930s brick. Probably can't have 300 people hanging out there in a party jumping up and down. So, but this is really cool because that one overlooks the forum. Again, great thing about us is you'll always have a space to drop in on as well. So even if you're a client, here in Madison, if you're visiting somebody, in Brookfield, or does anybody have like that one client that will not leave a 5-mile radius of their house? You can book, a day office, or you can go meet that client and then not waste the rest of your day traveling back, especially even with like traffic. If you need to just hang out and wait for traffic to clear, you can drop in on one of our other locations and work from the lounge in there as well. So, again, we're huge on the customer service side of things. They send out the promoter score surveys. Cool thing too is a lot of companies, of those Fortune 500s that I mentioned, a lot of those can only be with us because of the IT security that we do have. I think we use like level 3 is the name of the company, and they do like the 24-hour monitoring on it. So the benefit, we have banks that are with us. I have PayPal, with me in as well. So a lot of that stuff that they're sending obviously is very sensitive, but they could only use us as an office space because of like the security that we do have in place. And then the nice thing, trickle-down effect, is the startups and the small businesses are able to actually take advantage of that and have that already in place. And then that way you don't have to worry about having the internet monitored. If the internet goes out, think of like if you're working from home and the internet goes out, who's it on? It's you guys got to call and be on the phone with them. Worst case scenario, like if an animal chews through a very important cord like it did at our 3rd Ward location earlier this year, and the entire internet goes out for the facility, well, actually, if you guys want to, we actually gave them keys to other offices and other centers to work for like that week because they had to restream this very important obviously everybody has apps these days. Ours is really cool to have, even if you're not a client with us, if you just have that off chance that you may need, like an office space or just need to like drop in and work from, you'll be able to look for any office around you, even if you're in Louisville as well. We have 4 locations in. It'll always be able to help you kind of find one, or as you're on the go, kind of handy to have. We also do like drop-in rates. I think at the spaces, they're usually like $25 for like a day to come in and hang out. In the Regis's, it's like 15 or $20 a day. They also do like the memberships too. And as many of the co-working guys know, we definitely save you on all these little things as a startup company that kind of eat away at the cost. So think of like utilities. On a day like today, furnace is going to be going the whole time. If you have one of those, if you got like the $200 office hookup from your buddy that's in a drafty space, that utility bill is going to be huge. It's going to be also having all the different furniture already in place, having all the different desks and that. My favorite story is in September, everybody gets in their interns and they forget to tell us. So we have Timmy at the front desk, and he needs a desk and some keys right now. So we're able to actually facilitate that. Grab a desk, put it in there for him. Again, IT support I already mentioned. The offices are cleaned nightly, just all those little things. Even the front desk, the receptionist is already there to greet your guests for you, be like the face of your business as well. And also they can sign for packages, and you can hire them out on 10-minute basis, so that for any task that you can think of. We took orders for a Hebrew kosher bakery over the phone. We had them actually like teach us all kinds of stuff. We do appointments for a bankruptcy attorney, and we use her Google Calendar to put the appointments in, so she can wake up, look at her calendar, and say, okay, I don't have to be in until 10. I can spend the morning with my kids. We had a client that wanted 200 handwritten thank you notes written in 2 days, and he kind of like came up to us as like, can you do it? So cool thing is we had each center manager come and pick up their share, and we had it knocked out for them in a day. So, again, all those just little things that can save you guys time. And then the facilities cost, there's no can fees, already have the microwave, the fridge. It's not like, I always hear these fun horror stories from clients. It's not like the fridge and microwave that sparks that you got from your uncle that he had in college. So, again, even just from the starting standpoint, we just even have like the professional address. We can do an address and phone number. We can do address and phone number in like the space a couple times a month. So, and you can progress as the business grows. So you're not just, locked into, well, I just have the address until for another year and I can't do anything. Well, you can upgrade it, you can move it as it needs to. Again, different membership options as well. And again, just is more like the sales presentation, but definitely the unrivaled choice when you look at us versus even any other co-working places, because we have so many different locations. We already have everything being professional and secure, have that flexible terms and options and ability to upgrade, IT security, having the customer service. We do Spaces actually focuses on doing community events. So if you guys ever wanted to host an event, we love to partner with the small businesses and help promote anything that we can for you guys as well. So always, if you guys have anything in mind, please reach out to us. We're simple and easy to set up. I mean, if someone came in today and wanted to be set up to use their office, we could have them set up in 10 minutes. Everything's all kind of in one map. And then even from the location standpoint, we have plenty of different banded pricing as well. So those are kind of more of our maps. I tend to kind of ramble on. That's what I kind of had for you guys. We're able to facilitate any business need and anywhere.
Do you have an ask?
We do offer $700 for referrals. That's more of an ask for you. But yeah, if you guys ever have anyone looking for office space, definitely send them our way and let us know. And we do actually, it comes as like an American Express gift card. We do make you fill out a W-9. But yeah, $700 for 6-month office referral at Spaces and $500 for Regis.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Questions?
So I worked with a client in Houston a while back that had to use exactly what used to be kind of the swing space. They went with a Regis area. And that worked out swimmingly for them in between leases. Definitely got a different vibe from that space than I do from visiting spaces across the way here. But the membership that you were talking about earlier, where hey, you drop into any 3,000 locations around the world, so that includes all of the Regis spaces?
It does. It has, it's going to actually even go across. We're going to have 5 brands. Right now there's 3 in the US. So there's Regis, which is that one.
Yeah.
And, Spaces, which is usually where the jeans and but another cool one is number 18, which is like super high-end, where this would be a 3-piece suit. And there's fireplaces, like actual artwork on the wall. There's one in Chicago on Wacker, that's that new big complex that's being built, where 2 of the 3 penthouse floors there. And then there's another one in Atlanta that's next to like a Gucci store. So the cool thing about the membership side is you get across all the different brands. And when you look it up in the app, it'll tell you which brand it is. So if like, to exactly what you were saying, if I wanted to have that professional one, I'd choose a Regis. If I wanted to kind of have that cool vibe, I would pop in on the Spaces.
For the dedicated desk sort of level of engagement, how do you handle like conference rooms? I'm thinking about not for big meetings, but for like I need to take a phone call. I'm going to be talking for the next 2 hours. I'm in an open space, and I want to be considerate, right? Like that kind of situation.
Perfect. Each of our locations has a like some kind of like a phone booth set up as well. So they sent a little robot through our center here in Milwaukee. And I'll show you kind of here. Not only do we have like the little booths for people to go into, but if you needed to do a private conversation, we have these phone booths here as well that you can drop in on. If you needed to do a meeting, not only do we have meeting rooms, but we also have a meeting area. So you have these meeting rooms that you can get by the hour. And then we have this meeting area that you can actually book at the front desk. And it's kind of like semi-private because it's in this little cove. And that you can get for up to 2 hours per day. So that comes included. The meeting rooms are like anywhere from like $40 to $100 an hour, depending on like the size.
Based on what you've just gone through, it appears that you're trying to do something what I call co-working elevated. Co-working is like space, inventory, coming, desk, etc. And there are plenty of places like that. You're kind of in this value-added layer with multiple layers within that. You've got super premium, etc. So it's almost like more of a hotel model, where if you just need a bed, we got a bed for you. If you need a bed plus breakfast, we've got that brand for you. If you need a bed, breakfast, and a meeting room with, etc., etc. So if you're, and right now, you're kind of living in a post-WeWork environment where people are really taking a really, really hard look at this space and the value proposition about it. So if you're doing just the co-working thing, that's like 2014. Now we need to be talking about the value-added parts, because I can see that, especially if you're a road warrior, the ability to check into these. This is like a Delta Sky Lounge or whatever. If you're on the road all the time, you need a place to stay, and you don't want to be in your hotel room the whole time, or have meetings. It seems like that's the story, right?
Absolutely. No, and the true the true value that we also give, the co-working side of things. If this were like a true co-working place, this one has we have 138 offices. So that's where really like most of our value kind of comes in. And we have like the big co-working areas that drop in on, but we'd love to have you with us, full-time as an office client, and then having the value add, like you said, of having this network of tons of locations. For example, the ability to sell anywhere. I sold an office in Africa 2 years ago. Today I have a client that's touring. He's in New York City, and he wants to do one in Milwaukee and one in New York City. I said, I need you to be more specific. There's 92 locations. So we brought up the location. Do any of you guys know where Hell's Kitchen is? I have no idea, but he's going to tour there today. I pulled up the map, said these are kind of the options that we have. So he's going to go take a look at that one at noon today, and then they're going to do a deal between the two locations. So it's really kind of neat being able to offer, all of these different spots, not only just here, but globally. Looked at like offices in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv once. So we have a client that is a virtual office client, but he takes advantage of like using the lounges everywhere, and he'll send us a postcard from wherever he goes. So that's kind of cool.
Speaking of the lounges, if I understood the slide right, that was sort of what you had access to from the network. Maybe using the Milwaukee space as an example, what does that mean? Like, what is the business lounge area? If you were to drop in, what would you get?
So you have the ability to use, every space kind of has like these little coves. Okay. You can kind of work in like here, or just throughout the area are just these little nooks. Okay. And then not only that, but there's also the cafe as well. Use, and then there's also another area back here. So even when you check in, I would even just talk to the receptionist and be like, "Yeah, can you just give me a quick 5-minute, tour?" This one is actually really neat because these are right on the river, and this actually sticks out over the Milwaukee River. So you're like right on it, and they did this in last January. Which I wish they would have done it in June. But yeah, so you have these little areas, and even if you're like, let's say two of you guys kind of like checked in to collaborate on something, these actually kind of like, you can pull these out. And you guys can
What's so the videos that you have are all empty spaces, right? So if you're evaluating a space, knowing what you know, what would you ask if you were somebody that didn't know the right questions to ask? Like, when's the best time to be here? Are you 24/7? How hard is it to get one of these cool spaces, or do I have to get here by 6:30 in the morning, or else it's going to be locked up for the day, or something like, all those little practicalities that come when you start putting people in the seats. Mm-hmm. What kind of questions would you ask?
I would ask, more of what the need is of the client. Are you just looking for a place to drop in on? And if it's probably, like Lincoln Park in Chicago, that's a fairly busy one. So then I might say, are you looking to be here 24 hours? Then I would get a dedicated desk. We're usually, pretty busy in our common areas. But then at that point, what they might even do is if they still have some space available, they would open up one of the larger offices if it's not being used and be able to make that into some lounge space, especially with it being customer service based. They're going to be definitely focused towards that. So, for example, both these are taken, but if it were available, how easy would it be if all that other space in that common area was being used? How easy would it be just to open up this one if it's not being used and say, all right, if you guys want to pick a desk?
I think we've got time for one more.
So how does the pricing model vary by location? Because I'd imagine that office space costs something in Waukesha versus downtown Chicago.
Absolutely. A dedicated desk in Waukesha is probably, I'd say like right around $200. I think the one here is 200 or less for the dedicated desk. Hell's Kitchen Chicago, with me discounting the heck out of it, is $347. So it really, if you kind of think of like the market rate, the real estate, it kind of varies that much, but not too exorbitantly. The ones in Milwaukee are about $250. That's about downtown Milwaukee versus downtown Madison.
All right. Thank you.
Come on by, we're right across there.
There's a plug as a quick thank you for coming to present. Thank you. All right, so reminders, we are not having 1 Million Cups next week or the week after, so do not come. Nobody will be here. Well, I don't know, maybe Joey was here last time or something?
I was here. We
Yeah.
had a couple coffees.
Yeah.
It was nice chatting.
Sure. Most likely, no one will be here. You never know. Also, make sure you grab the app, 1 Million Cups app, and go check in. Otherwise, I think that's it. Thank you, everybody. One more time. Let's hear it for Spaces and have a good